Hey, hello everyone, guys. Hello everyone. Good morning. How are you all? Good morning, everyone. My name is Afreen Azmat, and I welcome you all to today's session. So, today is Unit 14 Money Supply and Inflation. This is Module B, i.e., IFS. Okay, we will be going to discuss about the money supply and inflation overview, the brief overview of this chapter, followed by some of the important questions which are related to the explanation. Okay, let's start discussing and let's start with the very first thing. Okay, first, what is the money? A money is anything which performs this four function. If a money is defined as what? Money is anything which actually defines these four things. First of all, it as a medium of exchange, it is a measure of value, it is a store of value over time, and it is a standard for deferred payment. Deferred payment means when you are paying anything on EMIs or on a time period or a late payment. So if it is set as a standard for deferred payment, if it is a store of value over time, if it is a measure of value and it acts as a medium of change, then it is known as money. Now, what is these four things? Okay, medium of exchange means you all know that individual goods and services, they all need or they all are exchanged for a medium of exchange. For example, if I'm receiving some good, I have to return you something in favor of that. So money always act as a medium of exchange. Okay, next, it should be a measure of value, means money should be measured and record the value of goods and services. Money can be held over a period of time and used for finance, and it is also a standard for the future receipts and payment in the contract. So if any paper or if any instrument is performing these four functions, it is considered as the money. Okay, these four functions are necessary. Then what? Then next thing is, what is the money supply? Money supply is often refers to as liquidity in the economy. Liquidity means money supply, the flow of money in the economy. How much flow of the money is currently in the economy? How much money is actually floating in the economy, or you and I and we, or individual and corporates and everyone who is holding the money, how much amount of money is in the economy right now is considered to be as the money supply. You can also term it as money supply is the availability of money in the economy. Money supply data are recorded and published by RBI on fortnightly basis. So if we talk about the money supply always published by RBI on a fortnightly basis, means in every 14 days, or you can say in every 2 weeks, or in every 14 days. Okay, this is important. Next, the most four common types of money that is used. The most common type of money. What is the most common type of money that is used? First of all, there is a narrow money. Narrow money, that is termed as M1. M1 is the narrow money. Currency with the public. First of all, the narrow money is currency that is with the public, plus demand deposit with the banking system, plus other deposit of RBI. So these three altogether is known as narrow money, which is termed as M1. What is narrow money? Currency that is held by the public, that is the money supply, plus demand deposit that is in the bank. Demand deposit you all know. Okay, third, the other deposits with RBI. Next is M2. M2 is narrow money plus saving deposit of post office saving bank. So there are saving banks, there are post office saving bank. So saving deposit in the post office saving bank is the M2. Narrow money plus saving deposits of post office saving bank. Third, broad money. Broad money is M3. M1 plus time deposit with the banking system. Broad money is M3, M1 plus time deposit with the banking system. Now, fourth is M4. M4 is what? Broad money plus all the deposit with post office saving bank, but it is exclude the national savings certificate. And lastly, what is reserve money? Reserve money is considered to be as M0, whatever the currency is in circulation right now, plus bankers deposit with RBI, plus other deposit with RBI. So these are the most common type of money terms that is used. Narrow money, broad money. See, narrow money is the most liquid type of money in the economy. The most liquid money which our economy held is the narrow money. Narrow money is very easily changed into one hand to another, and it is easily available in the cash, and that's why it is the most liquid form of money which our economy has. Okay, now next. Now let's start with the concept of inflation. What is inflation? Inflation is when there is a sustainable, or you can say when there is continuous increase in the prices of the goods and services for a regular period of time, then it is known as inflation. Inflation means what? Inflation means when there is a regular increase, or you can say when there is a sustained level or increase in the prices of goods and services that is actually held for a longer period of time, then it is known as inflation. And inflation does what? Inflation decrease the purchasing power of the economy. What is the purchasing power? Purchasing power, for example, if currently I purchase this pen, okay, for example, I purchase this 4 pen at rupees 100. Currently, I have purchased this 4 pen at rupees 100. Now, for example, there is an inflation, there is a rise in the price of this good. Now, if this good, the price rises in this good, then obviously in that condition, I cannot purchase 4 pen at rupees 100. I can purchase 3 or even 2 pen at rupees 100. So it does what? 100 rupees is the same, but because the price of this good increases, obviously the purchasing power decreased, and that is known as inflation. So inflation is what? It is the sustained or the general increase in the price level of the goods and services over the economy over a period of time. Then inflation is what? Inflation leads to fall in the purchasing power. Done? Okay. Now, if we talk about the types of inflation, this is important. Now we are talking about the types of inflation. What are the different types of inflation? Everyone who are watching the video, just please like and share the video, guys. Everyone, I request you guys to please like and share the video. Okay, now what are the types of inflation? First of all, depending upon the speed, how the inflation is coming, there are three types of inflation: creeping, walking, and galloping inflation, and even the running, or you can say the running inflation. So first stage is creeping, second stage is trotting, that is walking. First, this is the crawling, then walking, then running, galloping, and finally run away. That is the hyperinflation. Now, when the inflation is very slow moving, means the inflation is coming at a very slow speed. The inflation is actually less than approximately 3 or 4%. Then it is known as creeping inflation, and it is also known as crawling inflation. Now, second is trotting inflation. Inflation means when the inflation is actually coming with a higher speed than the creeping inflation, means the inflation range from 4 to, for example, 10%, when it is known as walking inflation, or also known as trotting inflation. Third, when the inflation is the what? Then the inflation comes at the galloping stage. Galloping means running inflation, means the inflation is between 10 to 1000%. That is galloping. And finally, the runaway, that is hyperinflation. The inflation is actually above 1000. Okay, so creeping inflation, it is up to 4%, walking 4 to 10%, galloping 10 to 1000, and hyper above 1000. Creeping is also known as crawling, walking is also known as trotting, galloping is also known as running, and hyper is also known as runaway inflation. Okay, good. Now, next, now different type of inflation. If we talk about the demand pull and cost push inflation, what is a demand pull and what is a cost push inflation? Demand pull inflation is the inflation in which the aggregate demand is more than the aggregate supply. Means the supply is actually not moving. The supply is actually constant here. The supply is constant. Supply is actually not moving, but the demand of that good is increasing. The demand of that good is increasing, but the supply is actually constant. Supply is still here, but the demand is increasing, and due to which there is a gap which denotes that aggregate demand is greater than aggregate supply, and this type of inflation is known as the demand pull inflation. Second is the cost push inflation, the inflation which actually comes when there is a increase in the cost price of that product. Means the price at which that product is produced. For example, labor goes costly. For example, technology price is high. For example, raw material is expensive, and due to which the product is now produced at a higher cost. And because the product is produced at a higher cost, obviously it will be sold at a higher cost, and this is known as the cost push inflation. Okay. Next, bottleneck inflation. Bottleneck inflation is when demand is constant. Now, what demand is constant? Demand is not moving either up or down. Demand is constant. But now, due to certain condition, for example, there is a flood and drought and everything, anything, supply goes down. So when demand is here and supply goes down, there is again a gap in which the demand is greater than supply, and due to which the prices goes high, and this type of inflation is known as bottleneck inflation. There is a difference between bottleneck and demand pull inflation. Demand pull inflation is when supply is constant and demand goes up. But in the bottleneck inflation, the supply is actually coming down while the demand remain constant. Then it is known as the bottleneck inflation. Okay. Next, headline inflation. Headline inflation is also known as the short-term inflation. Headline and core, these are the two inflation. Headline is termed as the short-term inflation, whereas the long-term inflation is known as the core inflation. Okay. Headline means when inflation is calculated for a short period of time, and because the inflation is calculated for a short period of time, then all the things, for example, petrol prices and food and energies, the prices which are very volatile in nature, they are actually included for the calculation of the national income, for the calculation of the inflation. Then it is known as the headline inflation. In headline inflation, inflation is calculated for a shorter period of time, and each and everything is included for the calculation of inflation. Whereas in the core inflation, when inflation is calculated for a very long period of time, and if inflation is calculated for a very long period of time, then obviously the prices which changes or fluctuates widely, like food and energy, they are excluded. They are excluded from calculating the inflation. Then it is known as core inflation. Clear? Done, guys? So this is the chapter overview of the chapter. Now let's start with the practice session. What? Money supply. The first question is, money supply is the amount of money in bank, the amount of money with people, the amount of money in circulation in an economy, or none of the above. Very easy. Everyone, please answer the question. Everyone. Okay, it's very simple. The amount of money in circulation is known as the uh, money supply. Next, which of the following statement is true about inflation? First of all, it is the rise in the general level of the prices leads to fall in purchasing price, both A and B, and neither A nor B. The correct answer is very easy. You can answer it correctly. Everyone. Very easy. The correct answer is, which of the following statement is true about inflation? Obviously, there is a general level rise in the general level of the prices. Okay. Second, leads to the fall in the purchasing power. So both are the correct. So the correct answer is C. C is the correct answer. Okay. Done. So this is the complete chapter. I hope that you have all enjoyed this chapter. If you like this chapter and session, please like and share the video to the maximum you can. And if you haven't subscribed the channel, guys, please subscribe the channel and press the bell notification icon. Thank you so much for the class. Thank you so much, everyone. Just keep on watching the session. Okay, keep on liking the session. Thank you so much. Take care, everyone. Bye bye, guys. Bye, everyone. Take care. Bye.